Lisbon, it's made of a lot of cultures. And that's what I love about this city, because you have a lot of things happening, especially in arts, in music. I'm trying to explore a little bit the Portuguese guitar, taking out of Fado without respecting Fado. So when I'm creating, I always try to pick a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Lisbon doesn't live without different cultures.
Hey everybody, I'm Derek Mazzoni. Welcome to SAMA, Seattle Circuit Music and Art, exploring music at the Womex Festival, and obviously, since we're here, we're also exploring the gorgeous and beautiful music scene in Lisbon, in Portugal. I'm here with Gaspar Varela.
Hey.
Thank you. Selma Uamusse.
Hi.
Also, we just heard a stirring Fado guitar piece. Dude, you're 19. You started at 7. What will be? You know, you're just beginning in this beautiful form. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh no, thank you for inviting me.
Fado was complicated, and it has a lot of emotion, has a lot of experience. You started at 7. You know, I have 2 children. At 7, they did not express this kind of pathos, this kind of saudade, this kind of thing. And I'm just super curious, is like, what are you feeling when you're playing this music at such a young age?
Well, I always feel really good, actually, because since I was born, music was always present in my life, especially Fado. So
your great-grandmother?
Yeah, Celeste Rodrigues. She was a Fado singer, an amazing Fado singer. And actually I started to play just to play with her, to be able to play with her. It was my dream, my big dream, yeah. And I did it, and I actually made that, and it's amazing.
You were like at 15, you were like the youngest Fado guitarist to have your own showcase?
Well, I think so, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Not 100% sure, but I think so. Yeah. But actually, we're starting to have more people of my age playing Portuguese guitar, and that's really nice, because Fado was always seen by music from old people, because it's sad and all of that. So actually starting to have more young people in Fado. Yeah.
That's beautiful to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I'm always curious, because when we listen to Fado, you expect to have some soul. Like, you can sing very well, you can play very well, but when I listen to Fado, I'm always expecting to feel the soul, and you're full of soul.
Yeah.
And so then I know a little bit about your background, and I know that you didn't suffer, you didn't had like a traumatic past. How do you think that it happens? How can you have so much soul when you're 7 years old? I was in your showcase when you were 15 years old, and I was like, this kid, oh my God, it seems like he has suffered so much. And you are playing along with Ana Amor, a big diva from Fado, and you've played with Madonna. Tell me a little bit about how it is to be so young and not to have a traumatic past, but still to have soul and to be able to engage and to play with such important people, starting with your grandmother, going through Anna and also Madonna.
Well, everybody suffers in some way during life. Doesn't matter if it's big or small. It depends of how you would react. Now I'm getting a little bit more old. Not that old, but yeah. But in Fado specifically, during every style of music, I just start to realize some lyrics and the meaning of the lyrics. And I didn't used to. It was always the melody and the harmony that make me fall in love. Now the lyrics are up to it too, and it's being amazing because you understand more things now. But I always try to put myself in other person, so I always try to know what feeling is. But I mean, nobody knows what feeling is because everybody reacts in a different way. But
empathy.
Yeah, it's empathy. I mean, the lyrics say everything, so you just have to follow the voice, and that's the amazing part, because it's really strong or really happy. It depends on the music. But yeah, it's that.
No.
And it's being amazing to be able to play with my great grandmother, with Anna, with Madonna, because three different people, three women that I really respect and that I really love, and they do things so beautiful, man. Anna is exploring now, and it's amazing, and it's one of the big artists from Portugal, for sure. And she always changing. She never keeping doing the same thing, and that's an amazing thing. I really love that. So always doing different things, and that's what an artist is.
Well, let me ask you that, because Fado has a particular sound, and it is the sound for when people think of Portuguese music.
Yeah.
Lisbon, especially, but Portugal is going through a lot of transition. There's a lot of music. We've been here for a while and have heard lots of different styles coming out of Portugal. Portugal obviously has a complicated history with the colonies, and a lot of artists are living here right now, from Mozambique, from Angola, from Cape Verde, and they're adding their own particular style to this. But music is something that is never pure. It's always absorbing something new from other places. So you're playing something which is very much of the past, and very much of what people expect of when they hear music from Portugal. But if you're here, you hear a lot of other different things. So I'm curious, how does that process work for you, where you're surrounded by all this music from everywhere, and then you're presenting something that people automatically go, okay, that's Portugal? How do you combine them together, or not?
I mean, Lisbon, it's made of a lot of cultures, and that's what I love about this city, because you have a lot of things happening, especially in arts, in music. This that I play today, I was bringing a little bit of fado and guitarradas, we call guitarradas, but I also do, I'm trying to explore a little bit the Portuguese guitar, taking out of fado without respecting fado. But that's the thing, I mean, Lisbon, you have a lot of cultures, so I always see different things everywhere. So when I'm creating, I always try to pick a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and that's the amazing part that I love to do, because Lisbon doesn't live without different cultures.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
When you presented yourself at Womax, you presented your other project that is called Expresso Transatlântico, and I think it talks a lot about these different patterns that you can find in Lisbon. And what is interesting for me is to see that you treat a guitar, the Portuguese guitar, as your arm, and you respect it very well. But it seems you're very disruptive and rock and roll, but I can still listen to Lisbon, and I can still see all these different paintings. Tell me a little bit about how do African people, Indian people are in your life, and because you live in the city center of Lisbon, how is it to be a Lisbonier, and how does that inspires you also in your other projects?
In everything, I literally get out of my house, I walk a little bit, and I'm in Rossio. And in Rossio you have a lot of cultures, like more than 72, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So even at my house, I will always listen a lot of styles of music. I mean, that's one part that I think it's really important for artists. It's to explore more and to absorb more things. I was born with seeing all these things, you know. So when I create, especially with Expresso, we try to take a little bit of African music, Brazilian music, Portuguese music. We are trying to know who Expresso is. We are trying to see where it goes, but it's actually that. It talks a lot of Lisbon, and Lisbon is that. Lisbon is all of that, and yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think what's beautiful in you, it's we're in this time that we talk a lot about cultural appropriation, and the way that I see that you do things, it's always in a very respectful way. And do you think that's the future? Is that the way to engage in this period that we are living of sorting out how to love one another? Is respect fundamental as a future point of view?
Yeah, of course, you always have to have respect, but I always think that, okay, if you want to talk about my culture, where I live, Lisbon, I would love that. you know. I literally would love that you talk about Portuguese guitar, that you bring Portuguese guitar to the world. People in cities and everything is made of culture. If you have more culture coming in, coming out, that's like the amazing part of living. And if you can create with that, man, you are a god, literally.
This is what makes Lisbon so beautiful to me, is that you have this mixture of so many different cultures. There's a history, obviously, and that history is complicated and very sad. But when people come together, and especially
really
artists,
sad.
it is.
It's really sad.
But when people come together, and especially in the context of music, as a musician, you have to kind of approach it from a place. Why would you play it if you didn't respect it? Why would you not take it upon yourself to actually make something with it if you were going to be disrespecting it or not understanding it? That gets complicated with certain genres where you're just sampling. You're taking stuff out of context and you're not really presenting the idea and the gist behind it. Some music was never meant to be played out like court music or music that needs to be in a place and in a surrounding for its intention to happen. But in a context as a musician, as a singer, as a guitarist, you need to learn how to do it. And you've fallen in love with it. There's something about that. Because you're constantly evolving as a musician. And you're trying to get better all the time. But Fado's interesting because, Fado, as you said before, Fado was considered to be music of the poor. And it gets kind of weird like that because suddenly, this happens with other genres like tango and others, the upper classes are like, oh, I don't want anything to do with that. But then suddenly something happens and it becomes important. So suddenly these classes are like, well, I know what's real Fado and others. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? You didn't care about this before. Now you're an expert and now you're like, that's fake Fado, this is real Fado. So you're kind of dealing with people, purists, shall we say. And I think Lisbon has no time for purists because it's
I don't have
constantly
no
changing.
time for purists.
I mean, fuck that.
Yeah, literally.
But at the same time, as what someone was alluding to with our project here, we're all about the future, the present and the future. Like, what will Lisbon be in 10, 20 years where there's this movement and there's this energy that's going on right now? And musicians and music are at the forefront of this because you're constantly putting something new out. You're constantly getting better with that. So as artists, as two artists living in this amazing city, in this amazing country, coming from so many different places, what do you think is going to happen? Be in the future with me.
Well, in an artistic way, I think we'll be great because my generation is amazing, literally amazing. It is. We have a lot of different things happening, and I think it's really strong, not just in music. In terms of city politics, I will think it will be fucked up. But at the same time, we have our generation that I think will be really, really, really strong, and it's starting to be really strong. And I'm really glad to be part of it. We have a great city with amazing artists. Yeah.
Okay. That's
I mean,
amazing.
We have great artists in this city. I won't say a great city.
You are amazing. You are amazing.
That gives me hope that you're actually, you're not settled. Some people go like, oh, it's great. Nothing needs to change.
I mean, everything needs to change. Especially for arts, we don't have nothing, man. Nothing. We don't have ways. If you want to make a big project, it's really difficult. I'm glad that sometimes I have opportunities to do something that I can do, but other people don't, And it's really sad to see that because you cannot never forget that a country is made of culture. And if you don't have culture and if you don't support the culture, you are nothing.
Yeah.
Really nothing. Nothing at all.
This place especially really is at the forefront. I mean, whatever the city fathers and mothers of Lisbon, you need to support these artists, all of the artists here, because that's how people recognize Portugal. It's how people have an emotional response to the place.
You know a good thing about us? It's like, even if we don't have support, we always keep creating.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing about art. We create about things that are happening. And that's why I think Lisbon and Lisbon artists and Portugal artists are getting really strong, even if in my generation, because we have a lot of things to talk.
Perfect.
Literally.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Selma, Gaspar, thank you so much. Anything you want to add?
No, I'm just very proud. I'm just very proud of his process, and I think that you are also very well influenced. You have this beautiful family that involves you, and that structure is also very very important. So you were talking about fathers and mothers that support, and that I think that's also special digital that you have, and I hope that you can influence lots of people from your generation, because you're like this punk rock and roll but still very sensitive, concerned guy about what's surrounding him. So I'm hoping for the best, because you are already very very special in our generation.
Well,
Thank you.
Actually, I have one thing to say. I remember when I was touring with Madonna, we were in New York rehearsing, and I went to see you in the show in Central Park, and I was really happy because I was like, yeah, Selma's in New York playing! And it was amazing. And Selma is one of the big artists that we have here, and I'm really glad to be here with her. Yeah, right.
Thank you both. Thank you both. I need to stress that we're in this beautiful studio. This is Chameleon, a gorgeous studio. And this is another important thing too. The infrastructure, the musical infrastructure of a city is vital. And to see a studio like this and just walk in and see other places that we've been here, you've got a good system here. It's not like you have to build everything from scratch. There's a lot of studios and cooperatives. There's a lot of culture here. The future looks bright. Yeah. I think there's a lot of support. So thank you one and all for being here.